They say self-discipline is the magic power that makes you virtually unstoppable. Do you have the inner strength to say no when so many others say yes? See, self-discipline begins with the mastery of your thoughts. If you don't control what you think, it's virtually impossible to control what you do. So my question for you is, how often are you exercising your self-discipline muscle? I know you talk a good game, but when it's time to do what you say you're gonna do, are you getting it done? Are you strong enough to go hang out with your friends to 2 in the morning knowing you have to be up at 7 in the morning? Or do you hit the snooze button? Because if you hit that snooze button, that's essentially the lose button. And you've set yourself up to lose for that day. But on the other hand, if you rise and shine and you get on up and grind, you feel like you've won that day. You feel like you've conquered. Self-discipline is a key ingredient to success in every phase of our lives. Self-discipline is strength. So I need you to flex your self-discipline muscle. Because at the center of bringing any dream into fruition is a little thing we like to call self-discipline. But Fry, I really don't feel like doing it right now. You don't get it. You will never always be motivated to do the things that you're supposed to do on a daily basis. That's why you have to learn to be disciplined. The greatest leaders, the greatest minds, the greatest entertainers, the greatest athletes always have self-discipline without exception. So no excuses, because they're absolutely no different than you. And you will find that when you exercise your self-discipline muscle on a daily basis, you will go from below average to average, from average to good, from good to great, and from great to phenomenal. Yes, you! Ordinary you want to lose that weight. You want to get that six-pack. You want to get that job promotion. You want to graduate, bachelor's, master's, PhD. All success starts with self-discipline. It starts with you. The great Lou Holt said, without self-discipline, success is impossible, period. But we're in the business of making the impossible possible. And that means you gotta do something when you don't feel like doing it, and that's the definition of having massive self-discipline. Self-discipline. The road may be hard, but the results are priceless. This is a great day to win.
If you just make a decision, it can be sometimes the day that starts you on a brand new journey. Sometimes when you look back on it, the day that you decided was just about as exciting as the day when you finally accomplished the project. That when you finally made the decision, you finally got through whatever barriers kept you from making that decision, and finally you made a decision. Now some decisions are incidental and some are small, and some are part of a working day. But sometimes decision-making can be one of the most important days of your life. Maybe a decision you've postponed, and now you understand the penalty of postponing that decision. You've got to do something, and finally you come to the conclusion, today is the day. I now decide. And whether you decide on a new direction, whether you decide on a refinement in philosophy, whether you decide to act when before you haven't acted, you decide on a series of things that you're going to do, you decide. Deciding can be such an incredibly important, very exciting, inspirational day. So that can be an incredible source of inspiration. Now, if you don't follow through, it's not going to last all that long. If you decide and then, postpone and you decide, but you still don't get to it for a week or a month or a year, soon all that energy and that source of inspiration is all dissipated.
I believe that the single most important skill is the ability to make effective decisions, because everything comes from decision. You only get new results if you take new actions. You only take new actions if that decision comes first. In other words, decision is the father or mother of all action. But not all decisions are equally good, as we all know. And the quality of our life comes down to the quality of our decisions. You want action. Action means you have to make some decisions along the way. And decisions, most people are so afraid to make the wrong decision, they don't make any decision.
That is what you really need to be afraid of, being stagnant. So, get up and go. That idea isn't going to execute itself. You have to do it, and you have to do it now. Don't wait anymore. Don't think anymore. Don't plan anymore. Don't contemplate anymore. Don't make any more excuses or justifications. Don't rationalize anything else. No. Take the risk. Take the gamble. Take action now. No complacency.
By 66, Pompey had already earned the title Magnus, making him, in fact, and in name, Pompey the Great. He had reconquered Spain. He had served as Rome's consul not once but twice. He had defeated Spartacus in the Third Servile War. And now he was being sent to dispatch the Cilician pirates who terrorized the Mediterranean. Before he left, he stopped for a private consultation with the Stoic philosopher Posidonius, one of the great minds of the ancient world. Posidonius's advice might have seemed rather redundant. Be the best and always superior to others, he had told the ambitious general, quoting a line from the Odyssey. But Posidonius wasn't talking about achieving more victories over the enemy. He was talking about conquering the self, not honors, but being honorable. Plutarch tells us about a far less famous general and statesman in Greece, many generations before Pompey. Despite his brilliance on and off the battlefield, Epaminondas was appointed to an insulting minor office in Thebes. In fact, it was because of his brilliance that he was put in charge of the city's sewers. Instead of being provoked or despairing at his irrelevance, a number of jealous and fearful rivals thought it would effectively end his career. Epaminondas took fully to his new job, declaring that it is not the office that brings distinction to the man. It is the man who brings distinction to the office. With hard work and earnestness, Plutarch wrote, he proceeded to transform that insignificant office into a great and respected honor, even though previously it had involved nothing more than overseeing the clearing of dung and the diverting of water from the street. Best is the person who adds shine to their accomplishments with their discipline, not the other way around. This is what Posidonius was trying to tell Pompey, although Pompey failed to fully realize it. In the end, it's not about what we do, it's about how we do it, and by extension, who we are. Too often, we find people choosing to be great at their profession over being a great human being, believing that success or art or fame or power must be pursued to the exclusion of all else. Does it have to be that way? Does being loved have to be at odds with being lovely? Or can temperance, as Cicero claimed, be the fine polish on top of a great life? Queen Elizabeth inherited the monarchy. Marcus Aurelius was selected for the purple as a boy. But it wasn't the throne that made either of them kingly. It was their behavior. They were what the ancients called first citizens for their character as much as their rank. As Marcus said, his aim was never to be the most powerful king, never to conquer the most territory, or build the most beautiful buildings. Instead, he was after perfection of character, to live your last day, every day, without frenzy or sloth or pretense. It just happens that wonderful external accomplishments, like those achieved by Elizabeth and Marcus, can come out of internal endeavor. They are not the goal, they are the byproduct. Conquering the world is almost easy after we have fully conquered ourselves. Certainly fewer people have done the latter than the former. This is what you find when you study the true masters of any profession. They don't care much about winning, about money, about fame, about most of the things that have come their way as a result of their success. Their journey has always been towards something bigger. They aren't running a race against the competition. They are in a battle with themselves. Self-discipline has never been about punishment or deprivation. It is about becoming the best that you are capable of becoming. The battle to be the best has less to do with beating others and more to do with beating down those urges, those flaws, those selfish instincts that every human has. There was never enough for Pompey, nothing sacred. His endless ambition, his insane love of glory, as Posidonius called it, would ally him with Caesar, setting in motion the destruction of the republic he once loved. He would wake up to this Faustian bargain eventually and fight valiantly to preserve Rome, but it would be too late. He would be defeated by Caesar's armies at Phasaelus in a day, losing everything that he had acquired, and then shortly thereafter losing his life as well. His last words would quote another ancient playwright, Sophocles. Whoever makes his journey to a tyrant's court becomes his slave, although he went there a free man. By chasing the wrong kind of best, fame, fortune, power winning, Pompey had chained himself to the worst. It cost him everything. As it does for all of us, when we compromise, when we relax our discipline, when we make exceptions and do what is expedient instead of what we know is right. History is replete with great conquerors. There are far fewer generals who were great people. Talented writers, groundbreaking scientists, incredible athletes, bold entrepreneurs. All these types are rare. Rarer still, and all the more impressive, are those who manage to achieve these feats without losing control of themselves, without becoming slaves to their ambition, to their careers, to their urges. Who will you be? What race are you running? Who are you trying to beat? And is it for the best?